Hello students, welcome to the lecture. So in this lecture, we are going to start the modern history part of static GK. Okay, so let's start. So basically, in the modern history part of static GK, basically we are required to cover out the Governor Generals of Bengal, thereafter the Governor General of India, thereafter the Viceroy of India. Okay, what was the difference between them and also how they started. Got it? Thereafter, we will have a look on the various newspaper and magazines and some events which held during the modern time period of Indian history. Okay, so basically, if we start the Governor General of Bengal. Okay, so first thing which we should know about is that the title of Governor General of Bengal refers to a historical administrative position in British India. Okay, during the colonial era. This position evolved over time and eventually played a significant role in the governance of India. Got it? So here we have come to know about that the Governor General of Bengal basically an administrative position which was established by the British government. Okay, but how? The main question is how? How they did this? Okay, how they occupied the area? How they implemented their policies through the so-called Governor Generals of Bengal and India as well. Okay, that's the question. So basically, if I took you back to the era where Mughals were declined, the Marathas and regional powers were growing. Okay, during this time there was a lot of chaos created. Okay, many kingdoms were evolving and some of these kingdoms were the Nawabs. Okay, and the important kingdom was Bengal. So during the fall of Aurangzeb, there was a rise of Nawab of Bengal. Okay, there was a rise of Nawab of Bengal, and the first Nawab of Bengal was Murshid Quli Khan. Okay, he was the first Nawab of Bengal who established the Bengal as a separate state. Okay, after this, the next Nawab was Alivardi Khan. Okay, Alivardi Khan was the next Nawab. But the Nawab during whose time period the British started involving in Bengal was Sirajud-Dowla. Okay, so basically we can say the Sirajud-Dowla was a grandson of Murshid Quli Khan, the person who started separate Bengal. Okay, so he was a grandson of him, and then he had fought a battle with Britishers, and the battle is famously known as Battle of Plassey. Battle of Plassey in 1757, in which Sirajud-Dowla lost. Okay, so basically he started fighting with Britishers and he fought a very famous battle known as the Battle of Plassey in the year of 1757, but eventually he got defeated. Got it? Thereafter, the next ruler of Bengal who was appointed by Britishers were Mir Jafar. Okay, but soon Mir Jafar was replaced with Mir Qasim. All these things I had told you in the previous lectures. Okay, I'm just revising the things here so that you are able to connect yourself in this topic. Okay, so Mir Jafar was appointed as a Nawab of Bengal by Britishers after Sirajud-Dowla. Soon Mir Jafar was replaced with Mir Qasim, and thereafter Mir Qasim aligned with Shuja-ud-Dowla, who was a Awadh Nawab. Awadh Nawab. Do not confuse Suja with Sirajuddaulah. Okay. And Shah Alam II, who was Mughal ruler on that time. Okay. So Mir Qasim combined with Suja-ud-Daulah and Shah Alam II. And what they did? They started Battle of Buxar, which was ended in 1764. And who won? British won under Robert Clive. Okay, so that's how the Bengal fall under the British government from the independent government of Nawabs. Okay, so this was the entire scenario. Got it? Now let's move forward. So the early origins. The role of Governor General of Bengal had its origin in British East India Company, earliest administration in India. Okay, in 1773, the British Parliament passed the Regulating Act, which established the office of Governor General of Bengal. So here we have formed a one question. Like if I ask you, how the Governor General of Bengal set up? If I'm asking this question, then what should be your answer? Your answer should be Regulating Act of 1773. Okay, so basically the Regulating Act of 1773 was the main cause behind the establishment of Governor General of Bengal. Okay, which was passed by the British Parliament in the year of 1773. Got it? Now come to the early Governor Generals. The first Governor General of Bengal was Warren Hastings. We are going to cover about him in detail. Okay, who served from 1774 to 1785, just after the Regulating Act of 1773. The Warren Hastings was appointed as the first Governor General of Bengal, who served during 1774 to 1785. He played a pivotal role in shaping British rule in India during its earlier years. His tenure was marked by administrative reforms and territorial expansion. Okay, so basically when he appointed as a Governor General of Bengal, he was the first person. Okay, so what he started? He started participation in administrations and also expanded the territory. Got it? Expansion of authority. Over time, the powers and responsibilities of Governor General of Bengal expanded. In 1833, the Charter Act of 1833 was the year, and the Charter Act of 1833 was an act. Okay, abolished the Governor Generalship of Bengal and created the office of Governor General of India, which covered the entire British controlled territory in India. Now, what happened? First, they started from Bengal. First, they started with the Bengal. Okay, in Bengal, they passed the Regulating Act in the year of 1773. Got it? But after passing with the years, in 1883, they passed one more act, which known as the Charter Act of 1833. Okay, in this act, what they did, they changed Governor General of Bengal from Governor General of Bengal to Governor General of India. Okay, so now we can say they were not only controlling the eastern part of Bengal or India, but now they are trying to cover the entire India. Okay, that's why they replaced the position from Governor General of Bengal to Governor General of India, which is an evidence that their authority and their power was expanding. They are not only limited to Bengal right now, but they are expanding towards other part of India as well. So remember the acts. Governor General of Bengal was introduced through Regulating Act of 1773. Governor General of India was introduced through Charter Act of 1833. Now let's move forward. Roles and responsibility. The Governor General of Bengal, like later Governor Generals of India, had broad administrative and executive powers. They were responsible for overseeing British colonial rule, maintaining law and order, making treaties with Indian rulers, and ensuring the smooth operations of British East India Company. Basically, we could say that they are the first servants of Britain. Okay, they are the first servants of Britain in India to expand the control. Okay, and they started it with maintaining the law and order. Obviously, the laws were made by them only. Okay, thereafter they making the treaties with the Indian rulers to surrender themselves in front of British, and thereafter the British will save them. We will have a discussion over it. Okay, thereafter ensuring the smooth operation of British East India Company commercial interest. Okay, whatever the suppressed commercial policy they had, so the Governor Generals had the responsibility to ensure the smooth functioning of them. Got it? Now let's move forward. Out of every Governor General of Bengal, we had some significant Governor Generals, which role is admirable. First is a Warren Hastings, who was the first Governor General also of Bengal. Okay, basically he is known for consolidating British power in India and implementing administrative reforms. Okay, so in short, if someone asks you Warren Hastings is famous for, then just answer that it is famous for consolidating the British power in India. He was the one who started it and implementing administrative reforms. Basically, he changed the reform policy, administration policies of Nawab to British policies. Got it? Thereafter, the second one is Lord Cornwallis. He is famous for introducing permanent settlement in India. We will have a discussion over permanent settlement. Okay. Thereafter, Lord Wellesley, who introduced subsidiary alliance. Thereafter, William Bentinck, who is known for his social and administrative reforms and also earliest introduction of English language in India, basically known as the English education. He was the first person who had a great emphasis on the English education. Okay. Thereafter, also for the abolition of Sati. Okay. Now the transition to Governor General of India, as I have told you, from the Charter Act of 1833. Got it? Now let's start. The end of the colonial era, basically. The Governor General continued to evolve and British Governor General of India was Lord Louis Mountbatten. Basically, it is about the end. So I don't think that it is important to learn about it right now. I will try to connect these things with the topics in this lecture so that you will have a complete understanding of the facts and figures which we are going to cover. Okay. So here we have started the Governor Generals of Bengal. So first we have the Governor General of Bengal, who was known as the Warren Hastings. Okay. He was the Governor General of Bengal from 1774 to 1785. Okay. He played a crucial role in consolidating British power in India during the late 18th century and implemented significant administrative reforms. Now what happened when he became the Governor General of Bengal? Basically, he first established Board of Revenue. Board of Revenue. Okay. So he first established the Board of Revenue for the smooth and effective collection of taxes. Okay. Second thing, what he did, he introduced the policy of paramountcy. He established the policy of paramountcy. Basically, the policy of paramountcy was introduced to establish the supremacy of Britishers amongst all. Okay, so basically, Warren Hastings passed the paramountcy policy as a acceptance that the British had the supreme authority over all over the matters which comes under the Bengal and also all over the administrative and revenue sources. Okay, so he introduced a paramountcy policy, or basically you can say in simple terms, paramountcy to establish British supremacy. Okay. So basically, paramountcy was to establish British supremacy over all the resources. Okay. Thereafter, he started annual revenue to Bengal Nawab. Nearly about 16 to 32 lakhs. Okay. The fourth point, what he did, he stopped tribute to Mughal rulers. Thereafter, he abolished Sathi practice. Okay. The fifth thing which he did, Asiatic Society of Bengal was founded. By William Jones. Thereafter, two courts were established. Sadar Divani basically. Or, okay, let me write down again. 6th point is for civil matters and Sadar Nizamat Adalat for criminal matters. Okay, so basically Warren Hastings had done these things. First, he established the Board of Revenue. Okay. Second, he established the policy of paramountcy, that the British power is supreme above all the factors. Okay. Third thing, he started paying annual revenue to the Bengal's Nawab. Okay, nearly about 16 to 32 lakhs. Basically, you can say that he had acquired entire control of Bengal. Okay, and for this, he started paying some monetary fees to the Bengal's Nawab, which is amounted 16 lakhs to 32 lakhs per annum. Okay. Fourth thing, what he did, he stopped tribute to the Mughal rulers. Okay. Basically, after the Buxar, when revenue rights of Odisha, Bengal and Awadh, sorry, not Awadh, but Bihar. Okay, when the revenue rights of these areas passed to the Britishers, there was a clause that Britishers had to pay some tribute to the Mughal rulers. Okay, but when Warren Hastings introduced the policy of paramountcy, he simply stated that the British had the supreme power above all. So there is no longer need to provide tribute to the Mughal rulers. Okay, also, not Sati Pratha, basically he abolished dual government. Just corrected. He abolished dual government. So what do you mean by dual government? Just write it. Robert Clive, who fought a battle of Buxar from the British, okay, he had a treaty called clause signed with the Mughal emperor and the Bengal's Nawab that the revenue rights of Bengal would be held by the Britishers, but the administration would be held by the Bengal's Nawab. Okay, so there are two types of government. First, which is maintaining the administration. Second, which is collecting the revenue. But Warren Hastings abolished the policy and he stated that there should be only one government. Both revenue and administration would be maintained by it only. Okay, so he abolished the dual government. Second, after Asiatic Society of Bengal was founded by William Jones during the Warren Hastings. Okay, the Asiatic Society of Bengal was responsible for archaeology of India. Okay, to reconstruct the history of India. So remember, if question asks you who was the Governor General of Bengal during the foundation of Asiatic Society of Bengal, then the answer should be Warren Hastings. And who founded? William Jones founded. Okay, the sixth one is that he established the courts. First court was established for Sadar Diwani Adalat for civil matters. Second court was established for Sadar Nizamat Adalat for criminal matters. Okay, so it is about the Warren Hastings. Now let's move forward. Thereafter we have a John McPherson. Basically, John McPherson served as the acting governor of Bengal between the tenures of Warren Hastings and the Cornwallis. Basically, it was planned that after Lord Warren Hastings, next Governor General should be Lord Cornwallis. Okay, but due to various political situations prevailed in London, stopped appointment of Lord Cornwallis as a Governor General of Bengal. But someone has to establish the control over Bengal. So that's why John McPherson was appointed as an acting Governor General of Bengal till Lord Cornwallis came to India. Okay, so he only handled Bengal for 1 year from 1785 to 1786. Now let's move forward. Now we had the Lord Cornwallis. Okay, basically the Lord Cornwallis was famously known for the permanent settlement, which is the land revenue. Okay, basically when he came to Bengal, he saw the zamindars as the powerful figures. Okay, in the agrarian structure of Indian economy, the zamindars were the powerful figures who owned nearly about 400 villages, and they were responsible to maintain these villages, revenue, administration and judiciary. Okay, so when Lord Cornwallis came to India as a Governor General of Bengal, he had a task to maximize the revenue. So what he did, he introduced permanent settlement. So what is the permanent settlement? So basically in permanent settlement there are several things. First is the zamindars were declared owner of the land. Okay, thereafter revenue was fixed 9/10, or you can say 89% to state or government. Thereafter, there was a sunset law which was introduced. And fourth, no interfere by the government in zamindars' territory. Okay, so basically that was the concept behind the permanent settlement. Basically, these zamindars were declared the owner of the land. Okay, so basically you can say if there is a one zamindar, this one who had control of 400 villages. Okay, so basically you can say the entire land of these 400 villages were declared belong to the zamindar. Okay, so zamindars were basically declared as a owner of entire land of these 400 villages. Okay, second thing was revenue was fixed as 9/10 or 89% to state government. Okay, so whatever revenue was collected, just suppose out of 100%, and the revenue is collected as 100 rupees. Just take an example. So 89% should be given to the government, and the remaining 11% would be held by the zamindar. Okay, so in this scenario, the 89 rupees would be goes to the British government, but only the 11 rupees would be kept by the zamindar. Okay. Third was sunset law. Basically, a date was fixed to submit the revenue. Just suppose, for example, if there is a 4 September, this zamindar had to submit its 89% of collection to the government on 4 September. So till evening 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. nearly about, when the sun does not, you can say before the sunset basically. Okay, before the sunset, this person has to submit the 89% to the government. Okay, if he failed to submit it before 4 p.m. and 5 p.m., then on 5th of September, next day, his property will be auctioned, okay, to recover the money. Got it? That was a sunset law. If zamindar failed to submit the fixed revenue percentage to the government before 4 p.m. or 5 p.m., or you can say before the sunset of that particular date, then on the next day, his property will be auctioned as a fine to recover the money. Got it? The fourth one is that no interference would be made by the government in zamindar's territory. Okay, so basically you can say if zamindar had 400 villages, how he is maintaining the judiciary, administration and revenue of that area, there is no concern of the government on it. Okay, zamindars were allowed to do whatever they want to do. Got it? But remember the thing that the permanent settlement was failed because two reasons. The first reason is that the demand was too high. The first reason was that the demand was too high for the revenue. The second reason was that the zamindars were getting more and the state were getting less because there was a fixed revenue. Suppose if the income of zamindar is rising, he is getting more, but British government only getting fixed percentage which had been fixed by the agreement. Got it? So it was introduced by the Lord Cornwallis. Also, he is known as the father of civil services. Father of civil services because he introduced two types of services. First is covenant service. Second is uncovenant service. In covenant service, they are basically the British officers for high positions. For high positions. Okay. And for uncovenant services, there are Indian officers, but only for low positions. Okay. So this system was introduced by Lord Cornwallis. Got it? That's why he is known as the father of civil services. He introduced two types of services: covenant services, which is only for the British officers for high positions. Second one is uncovenant services, which is only for the Indian officers for low positions. Okay. Second thing, he established courts at districts, provinces, and states. Okay. So you can say he introduced courts for 3 levels: district level, province level, state levels. Also, he abolished court fees. He abolished court fees. So basically you can say there was a provision that if someone had to attend the court proceedings, then he will require to pay some fees. But he abolished the court fees. And what he did, he allowed lawyers to charge their own fees. Okay, so it means that if you are had to go to the court for attending some proceedings, that you are not required to pay the court fees, but you have to pay the fees of the lawyer who is fighting the case from your side. Okay, so this is about the law convenis. So students, in this lecture, we have covered the beginning of the Governor General of Bengal. Also, we have covered about 2 Governor General of Bengal. In this next lecture, we will continue the discussion over the Governor General of Bengal. Okay, till then, just revise the facts so that you will be able to learn about the facts and to keep up with the facts in the next lecture. Okay, till then, thank you.